Keep your voice firm, serious, and informative. To traditions that make no sense to outsiders, Algeria is unlike anywhere else on Earth. Here, logic meets madness, and the result is both fascinating and shocking. You're about to discover the strangest country you've never heard about. Let's go. Number 10. Algerian carpet markets. Algerian carpet markets, especially in cities like Gardaia and Constantine, are insane. Not just because there are carpets everywhere, but because some of these textiles are masterpieces worth more than luxury vehicles. Traditional Algerian carpets take months to weave by hand, sometimes years for the really elaborate ones. Women in Berber communities learn the craft as children, memorizing patterns passed down through generations, understanding which colors mean what, which designs tell which stories. No two carpets are identical because each weaver adds her own interpretation, her own signature hidden in the patterns. The really valuable ones come from specific tribes with distinctive styles. Kabyle carpets have geometric patterns in bold colors. Berber carpets from the Atlas Mountains use natural wool dyes, creating earthy tones. Some carpets incorporate silver thread, others use silk. The most elaborate ones combine everything into pieces so complex they look like paintings. At these markets, negotiation isn't just expected, it's required. The first price quoted is never the real price. Vendors start high, buyers start low, then both sides dance around for 20 minutes drinking tea until they reach an agreement. Walking away is part of the strategy. Acting disinterested is crucial. Showing too much enthusiasm means you'll pay double. Foreign tourists usually get destroyed in these negotiations because they don't understand the game. But for locals, it's tradition, entertainment, social bonding, all wrapped into one transaction. Number 9. Where religion shapes everything. Algeria is 99% Sunni Muslim. That's not just a statistic. That's the foundation of everything. The call to prayer echoes through cities 5 times a day, a constant reminder that faith isn't separate from life. It is life. During Ramadan, the entire country shifts. Shops close early. Everyone fasts from sunrise to sunset. Then, after sunset, it's celebration time. Streets fill with people. Families gather for huge meals. The whole rhythm of daily life changes. But Islam in Algeria isn't monolithic. Down south, Tuareg communities practice Islam mixed with their own ancient traditions, creating this unique blend of official religion and local customs. French is everywhere, even though it's not official. Signs, newspapers, TV shows, business contracts. It's this ghost of colonialism that never left, especially among older generations and educated elites who learned French in school and never stopped using it. Arabic is the official language, but on the streets you hear Algerian Arabic, which is this wild mix of Arabic, Berber, French, and even some Italian thrown in. It's a linguistic smoothie that outsiders can barely understand, even if they speak proper Arabic. Berber languages got official status in 2016, a huge deal, recognizing the original peoples. In markets and homes, you hear Tamazight, Kabyle, Chawi, living languages, connecting the present to the ancient past. This multilingual reality means most Algerians code switch constantly, changing languages mid-sentence depending on who they're talking to and what they're talking about. I have a question for you. First, I would like to say that it is possible to follow the greatest curiosities of our world every day. But to do so, you need to be subscribed to our channel. So, are you already subscribed? If not, take the opportunity to subscribe now. Also, take the opportunity to like the video so YouTube will recommend more videos from our channel. So leave your like right now. And now that you have done that, let's go! Number 8. Algeria, a country that's basically a giant desert pretending to be normal. Algeria is huge, like stupid huge. We're talking about the biggest country in all of Africa, Bigger than Mexico, bigger than Greenland, bigger than your wildest guess. Over 2.3 million square kilometers of land sitting right there in North Africa, touching the Mediterranean Sea on one side and surrounded by Morocco, Tunisia, Libya, and a bunch of other neighbors. But here's where it gets wild. 80% of this massive place is straight-up desert. Not just any desert, the Sahara, the most brutal, unforgiving, absolutely insane desert on Earth. So basically, Algeria is like that friend who looks normal from the outside, but is completely nuts once you get to know them. Most people live crammed up in the north near the coast in cities like Algiers, Oran, and Constantine, because that's where you can actually, survive. There's water, there's some green stuff growing, the temperature doesn't try to murder you every single day. But go south and everything changes. The green disappears, the temperature skyrockets, and you're left with nothing but rocks, sand, and silence so thick it feels like the world ended and nobody told you. The crazy part? This isn't empty wasteland. There's history buried under all that sand. Ancient cities, lost civilizations, stories that make your history textbook look like a boring grocery list. Number 7. The Jama el-Jazair. Algiers has this mosque that makes every other mosque look small. The Jama el-Jazair, also called the Great Mosque of Algiers, is the third largest mosque on the entire planet. Third. Only Mecca and Medina are bigger. The minaret shoots up 265 meters into the sky, making it the tallest structure in Africa. Not the tallest religious building, the tallest structure, period. You can see this thing from everywhere in the city, dominating the skyline like some modern fortress of faith. But here's where it gets unusual. Most mosques have one minaret, maybe 2 or 4 if they're fancy. This one has 7. Nobody builds mosques with 7 minarets because that number doesn't follow traditional Islamic architecture patterns. But Algeria went ahead and did it anyway. The prayer hall inside fits 120,000 people. The total complex can hold 400,000 worshippers at once. That's basically a small city gathering in one place. The building cost over $1 billion and took years to complete. Chinese companies built most of it, which caused controversy because Algerians wondered why their own people couldn't construct their own grand mosque. Inside, there's a library holding 1 million books, a Quran research center, a museum, and a conference hall. The whole complex covers 70 acres of prime real estate overlooking the Mediterranean. Critics said it was too expensive, too showy, too much. Supporters said it was necessary, a symbol of Algeria's independence and Islamic identity. Either way, it's impossible to ignore. Number 6. Yenair Festival. Yenair is the Berber New Year, celebrated by Kabyles, Chawis, Tuaregs, basically all the Amazigh communities across Algeria. This festival started over 2,900 years ago, making it older than most religions. It marks the agricultural New Year, the time when planting begins. No champagne here, no countdown. Instead, families gather for massive couscous feasts with chicken, lamb, vegetables. In some regions, they paint kids' faces to protect them from evil spirits and attract blessings for the coming year. Stories get told around fires. Old songs get sung. It's tradition so old it feels prehistoric. Up in the Ares Mountains, there's this ritual called Bou Saadia. Men dress up in masks and colorful clothes, dancing through villages while asking for offerings. Drums pound, flutes wail. The whole thing looks like something from another dimension, but it's been happening for centuries. The Tuaregs down south celebrate La Sebeba in Janet. This is a ritual dance celebrating peace between tribes that used to be at war. Dancers carry symbolic swords, wear heavy jewelry, move in circles to hypnotic music that gets into your bones. UNESCO recognized it as intangible cultural heritage because it's that unique, that important, that worth preserving. Weddings in Algeria aren't events. They're week-long productions involving entire neighborhoods. Depending on the region, celebrations can last 3 to 7 days straight. Among Kabyles and Tuaregs, there's the henna night, where women decorate the bride's hands and feet with intricate designs representing fertility, protection, prosperity. Traditional songs echo, dances happen, food appears in quantities that seem physically impossible. Number 5. Algerian food. Couscous is the king of Algerian food. Not just a dish, a cultural institution. Made from wheat semolina, it comes in endless varieties. Sweet versions with cinnamon and sugar, savory versions with lamb, chicken, vegetables. Wedding couscous, funeral couscous, Friday couscous. Each occasion has its specific recipe passed down through generations. In traditional homes, women still make it by hand, gathering around clay bowls, rolling the semolina in this rhythmic motion that looks like a dance. It's a skill learned young and perfected over decades. Chorba is the thick soup that breaks the Ramadan fast every single night. Meat, tomatoes, chickpeas, herbs, all simmered together into something so hearty it feels like a hug from the inside. Families gather around the table, wait for the call to prayer, then dig in together, breaking the day's fast as a unit. Chakchuka from Orez tears thin bread into pieces and drowns it in spicy lamb stew. Borek are these crispy fried pastries stuffed with meat or cheese that appear at every celebration. Meshwi is whole lamb slow roasted over coals until the meat falls off the bone, served at big gatherings where everyone tears pieces off with their hands. Dolma stuffs vegetables with rice and meat. Rechta serves homemade noodles in chicken broth. Everything gets shared. Personal plates aren't really a thing in traditional settings. Everyone eats from communal dishes, breaking bread together, literally. Food isn't just nutrition. It's how bonds get formed, how respect gets shown, how traditions get passed down. Every meal is a ceremony, connecting the present to thousands of years of history. Number 4. The Grand Erg Occidental. The Grand Erg Occidental and Grand Erg Oriental are two massive sand seas in the Algerian Sahara. We're not talking about cute little sand dunes you see at the beach. These are mountains made of sand. Some dunes rise over 600 feet high, taller than a 50-story building. They stretch for hundreds of miles in every direction, creating waves of sand that shift and move with the wind like a slow-motion ocean. But here's the freaky part. These dunes sing. Not metaphorically, they actually produce sound. When conditions are right, when the sand grains are the perfect size and dryness, when the wind hits just right, the dunes emit this low humming noise that can last for minutes. It sounds like a choir humming in the distance, or a giant musical instrument playing one sustained note. Scientists call it singing sand, and they're still not 100% sure why it happens. The current theory involves sand grains of similar size vibrating together when they slide down the dune face, creating acoustic resonance. But standing there in the middle of the desert, hearing these massive dunes hum and moan feels supernatural. Local legends say the sounds are spirits trapped in the sand or ancient voices calling out warnings. Berber stories talk about jinn living in the dunes, making noise to scare away travelers. Whether you believe the science or the stories, hearing it happen is unforgettable. The sound gets inside your chest, vibrates through your body, makes you feel small and temporary next to something so vast and alien. Number 3. Camel cavalry in Algeria. While the rest of the world was doing normal military stuff with horses and tanks, Algeria said, "Nah, we're riding camels into battle." During French colonial times, they created this special unit called the Compagnie Saharienne. Soldiers trained to patrol the Sahara on dromedaries, those one-hump camels that look perpetually annoyed. These guys, called meharist, learned to survive in conditions that would kill most people. Sleeping under stars with no tent, navigating using only the sun and stars, going days without proper water. They wore this mix of traditional turbans and French military gear, looking like something out of a bizarre alternate history movie. Here's the kicker. This isn't some old tradition that died out. Algeria still has military units riding camels today, right now, in 2025. Mainly along the borders with Mali and Niger, where vehicles break down and GPS signals vanish into thin air. Camels don't care. They keep going. Days without water, carrying heavy loads, crossing terrain that would destroy any jeep. The soldiers riding them know desert survival better than anyone alive. They can track footprints in shifting sand, predict weather changes by watching the sky, find water sources invisible to everyone else, move through sandstorms that would blind and kill untrained people. This isn't a tourist show. This is real military strategy adapted to one of the harshest places on Earth. Number 2. Matmata. In the town of Matmata, wait, wrong country. In Algeria, it's Beni Izguin in the Mzab Valley where things get weird. But the real underground action happens in places like Gardia, where traditional Berber architecture carved homes directly into rock faces and cliffsides. These aren't caves people stumbled into. These are engineered dwellings built into the earth itself, creating natural climate control that modern air conditioning can't match. During summer, when the surface temperature hits 120 degrees Fahrenheit, inside these cave homes, it stays cool, comfortable, livable. In winter, when nights freeze, the Earth's insulation keeps warmth trapped inside. No electricity needed, no heating bills, no cooling systems. Just ancient knowledge about working with nature instead of against it. Entire neighborhoods exist in these cliff dwellings, stacked on top of each other, connected by narrow pathways carved from rock. From a distance, they look like a honeycomb or some alien colony. Up close, you realize people have been living here for over 1,000 years, raising families, building communities, all while staying protected from the brutal Saharan climate. The Mzab Valley specifically has 5 fortified cities called Ksur, all built between the 11th and 14th centuries. These weren't random settlements. They were carefully planned urban centers designed around Islamic principles, with mosques at the center, houses radiating outward, defensive walls protecting everything. UNESCO recognized the whole valley as a World Heritage Site because nothing else like it exists anywhere. The architecture is so unique, so perfectly adapted to its environment, that modern architects study it, trying to figure out how to build sustainable cities. Number 1. The 3 cups of tea that mean everything. Hospitality in Algeria isn't just being nice, it's a sacred duty. If you show up at someone's house, even unannounced, they'll welcome you like your family. Tea and dates appear immediately. If you stick around, a full meal materializes. Refusing is basically an insult. But the tea ceremony is where things get deep. There are 3 cups, and each one carries meaning that goes way beyond caffeine. The first cup hits you hard, bitter, strong, almost aggressive. It represents life in all its difficulty, the struggles, the pain, the hardships everyone faces. You drink it and remember nothing comes easy. The second cup is softer, sweeter, easier to drink. This represents love, relationships, the connections that make life bearable, the sweetness that balances the bitterness. The third cup is the lightest, barely there. This represents death, not as something scary, but as a natural ending, a rest after the journey. Drinking all 3 isn't optional. Refusing any cup signals distrust or disrespect. It's like rejecting the host's worldview. In traditional homes, men prepare the tea. It's an art form. They pour from way up high, creating foam, making sure the temperature is perfect, the sweetness balanced just right. It's a performance showing respect to guests. Greetings follow strict codes too. Elders get greeted first, always. You don't sit until invited. You don't eat until the host starts. You don't leave until the proper goodbye ritual happens. Break these rules and people notice, even if they're too polite to say anything.
Still curious? Then don't stop now. The next mystery is already waiting for you. Just click the video on screen. I saved it just for you. See you there, curious one.